Yeah, man. Another day, another story like this. Right? So it seems like stories like this always give me something to talk about, right? And this story right here just shows how loony and ridiculous and cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs some of our so-called educators are in society, and the things that they're teaching our kids at such a young age that I think really is counterproductive. It really is. Okay? You have kids worried about things like if Bernie Sanders wearing mittens to inauguration is example white privilege. Instead of worrying about, I don't know, math or science or history. History is a big one, right? And other things that kids should probably be worried about in school. But instead, they're teaching them about stuff like this. And quite honestly, this is probably the strongest argument for school choice, right? People wanted to send their kids to schools that they feel are teaching their kids the things that they want their kids to be taught. And again, like I said, stories like this just make me really empathize with people who want school choice. And I'm pro school choice as well. I'm just saying this might be one of the strongest arguments in my opinion for it. Just knowing that there are teachers out here like this. So San Francisco teacher writes in an op-ed that Bernie Sanders' mittens is a lesson in white privilege. I know, sounds ridiculous. A San Francisco high school teacher wrote an op-ed claiming Senator Bernie Sanders manifests privilege for wearing his meme-evoking inauguration outfit. Now, if you guys remember, Bernie Sanders was famously seen at the inauguration, basically with his legs crossed and his mittens over, his torso or whatever, just kind of snugged up, trying to stay warm, right? Like 99% of other people that were at the inauguration. Okay. And this went viral. I think Bernie made $1 million off of it. In his store, he sold like a meme shirt or something like that. He said he donated it. So I mean, hey, good for him. But a lot of capitalism came out of that. Put it that way. Ingrid Seyer-Ochi, a former UC Berkeley professor, wrote in the San Francisco Chronicle that the Vermont senator's choice of recycled woolen mittens was integrated into her class discussion on U.S. diversity and discrimination. Initially on Inauguration Day, Seyer-Ochi said her class talked about the deeper meanings of the historic day, including, quote, the vulnerability of democracy and, quote, the power of ritual and gender. Yeah, that sounds like something that I learned or talked about in a anthropology class when I was in high school. It's crazy stuff, man. Sanders, the teacher said, was not even on their radar until he became an instant internet sensation for his mittens and brown parka. Quote, I puzzle and fume as an individual as I strove to be my best possible teacher. What did I see? What did I think my students should see? Seyer-Ochi wrote. A wealthy, incredibly well-educated and privileged white man showing up for perhaps the most important ritual of the decade in a puffy jacket and huge mittens. So she's saying that Bernie Sanders, being wealthy, educated, white man, him showing up to an event like this in mittens, right, in a puffy jacket, basically dressing like a broke person, is white privilege. So let's read on. The senator, she said, quote, manifest privilege, white privilege, male privilege, and class privilege in ways that my students could see and feel. I wonder if they felt that way the first time they saw it, or they felt that way because she taught them to feel that way. I wonder why they actually would feel that way if they truly do feel that way. Seyer-Ochi said in the op-ed that many people without privilege would not be able to dress like Sanders did on such an occasion. Quote, I don't know many poor or working class or female or struggling to be taken seriously folk who would show up at the inauguration of our 46th president dressed like Bernie, she said. The op-ed left many people on social media scratching their heads. Quote, so Bernie represents the terrible privilege of the rich, of the white and rich because he, quote, reads article, didn't wear expensive clothes. One commenter on Twitter wrote, apparently, it is privileged to dress comfortably and not privileged to wear expensive designer clothes, while the media talks about ensembles like it's red carpet event. Another Twitter user commented. A third person on Twitter wrote, the only privilege I see right now is being able to publish a bad faith opinion piece in a newspaper with a paywall. Yeah, I 100% agree on that. That's the only privilege I'm seeing right now as well. And again, I'm not really a Bernie Sanders fan, but I got to defend him in this instance because, you know, my thing is this. Basically what she's saying is that Bernie is enjoying the privilege of being able to show up to an event like that and not be dressed up and nobody not care, nobody not say anything. Like he can just go and it's whatever, right? And that's one thing if she was saying that if this was like a job interview or something like that, right? But last time I checked, everybody has to show up to a job interview based off whatever dress code is required. Okay, so generally, most people, no matter who you are, white, black, Asian, whoever, male, female, they all show up to job interviews in the best dress possible. Preferably suit and tie, dress down. Now, this inauguration event, you know, it was just one of those things where it's like, this is not a job interview. Bernie's not out there trying to impress anybody. Who is he trying to impress? Now, you might say Michelle Obama and the Clintons and the Bushes and Joe and Jill Biden. Yeah, they out there trying to front, right? They out there trying to front for the red carpet, trying to get, you know, the best dress and get talked about on The View and all that stuff. That's what they're trying to do. But that in and of itself right there is rich privilege. That is class privilege. Them going to a simple inauguration, basically dress like that, right? The way they are, knowing that the media is going to talk about, that's privilege. Okay? There are people that are actually trying to get attention, right? So, yeah, if she would have said it about Obama and Bill Clinton and everybody else, all the big names who were there, who all dressed up in their $1,000 outfits, I'll say, yeah, I 100% agree with you. That is wealth/class privilege. But like I've told you guys, that's basically the only privilege in my mind that really exists. This idea that Bernie is exemplifying some white privilege because he showed up in some mittens and a little cheap coat to try to dress with, just to try to keep warm. I don't understand where she gets that from. Because again, it's not like he's showing up to some type of job interview. It's not like he's showing up to a place that demands that you dress well. It's just the inauguration. He's in the crowd watching. He's no different than a normal person like me and you going to the inauguration and just wearing our regular clothes to keep us warm and just showing up. He's no different than that. You know, and this is the type of stuff that, you know, scares me in the sense that why is it that this type of stuff is being taught in high school? Why is it that these teachers are teaching our kids to care about white male privilege? Is that not making society more racist? When I see Bernie sitting there in his, you know, mittens or whatever, the first thing I thought about, oh, dude trying to stay warm. Dude said, I ain't coming out here dressing up for nobody. I'm just out here to say I showed up and I'm trying to stay warm and I'm gonna dip. I'm gonna get back to the crib. That's what I saw. But people like her want to take that common interpretation and twist it into something where you have to think about some fake deep analysis where you have to think about, oh, why is Bernie not dressed down? Only a white male could get away with not being dressed down. Right? That's what she's trying to do. And again, to me, that's a waste of brain activity. That's a waste of effort. That's a waste of time. That's a waste of money on the school district. Why are you teaching kids stuff like this? Why are we teaching kids to be more racist? Why are we teaching kids to think about race? You know, and that's what really bothers me. If you truly want a society that is beyond race, then you actually have to move beyond race. You have to actually stop talking about it. Stop making it the theme of, you know, every discussion that we have. Stop talking about it. Okay, that's how we move beyond it. However, we can never move beyond it if everything that we see always has to be analyzed through the lens of race. Everything has to be analyzed through the lens of race. Everything is racial. Everything's about race. In my opinion, if they talked about class as much as they talked about race, we will actually have some progress in this country, right? Because again, in my opinion, that's the only real privilege that exists. That's the only real privilege that exists. The race thing is a distraction from the real stuff. And that's why the liberals really want to push it so hard, especially the elitist Democrats. They want to push it so hard. They want to push the race conversation so hard because they know it takes the eyes off of them. It takes the eyes off the real issues. The fact that Obama is rich, Obama is wealthy, right? Nancy Pelosi's rich, they wealthy. I mean, shoot, Bernie Sanders is rich and wealthy, right? All these politicians are rich and wealthy, but they got us sitting around here talking about race. The game is simple, man. And that's what these high school teachers really need to be teaching these kids. That no. The only privilege is class, right? Some people get more privilege because they have wealth, and some others don't. You should work hard and try to accumulate as much wealth as you can so you can enjoy that privilege, right? At the end of the day, that should be the takeaway. But anyways, man, more wokeness. Let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.